So it's no secret that Google is working on a 9A follow-up, but now we have a look at the next generation through leaks as the Pixel 10a has been revealed. I'm sort of confused though at this very strange upgrade, side grade, whatever you want to call it. So let's dive a little deeper into what it could bring to the table, what it can't bring to the table, and everything else in between. Before then though, we are rapidly approaching that amazing 400,000 subscriber milestone, and I would love it if you would join the crew. Tap that subscribe button, we'd love to have you as part of the team. Cheers. So thanks to leaked renders, this is the Pixel 10a, and what is interesting is that Google is doubling down on the 9a design like the company did with the Pixel 9 to the Pixel 10. I think that might be a very good decision. Identical devices a while back, that probably would have been a killer, but I'm actually pleased about this because I really do like the Pixel 9a's design. It's one of the better ones of the A series, which has probably been the most successful in terms of Google's lineup. I've read countless comments as well from you here on the channel that you love this design too. It's such a good remix of that camera bar style. Yeah, it's nothing special visually, but the completely flat design is, well, it's just nice to use. Like, we don't see it all that often now in the 2020s because there's almost always some sort of camera or protruding component out of the side of the device, the top of the device, the back of the device. I just love the simplicity of it, and I hope a lot of you do as well. If we do get what looks to be the exact same design though, the same, more or less the same chassis size and maybe the overall mass, I'm actually hopeful we'll get more upgrades internally because this leak doesn't actually detail any of the specifications, the upgrades, downgrades, or whatever you want to call them. As I say, I'm really hopeful that we at least get some new color options to properly differentiate this version. Like maybe we'll finally get that wide array of bright colors that we wanted from Google. They tend to be a bit muted and have one standout option. I'd like to see more standout options. My dream is something akin to what Apple's done over the past few years with they might have 6 or 7 different colors for you to choose from. I know that Google doesn't sell anywhere near as many units as Apple to do that probably, but come on, imagine having that much choice from an A series device. I think that would be really epic and would help differentiate from their mainline series as well. And that could be expanded to the accessories because Google's really been killing it with their first party accessories lineup recently, and I'd love to see that across all of their cases, especially if you pick a more plain color. You could always get a nice case to match it to give you a little bit of extra pizzazz, as it were. Another big addition I'm hopeful we'll see is Pixel Snap. Now there is zero information about that, save a very minor 0.1mm increase in the thickness of this device. It doesn't really take a rocket scientist to expect that, like the Pixel 10, this tiny change could make room for the magnetic accessory compatibility as magnets are added internally to the phone. There could be some other unrelated benefits and I'll get to them in just a moment, but imagine this, a cheap Android phone with the ability to tap into the sheer mere mass of MagSafe accessories without needing a case to do so. Yeah, I might be over-egging it here, but I do think this is a big potential move. Yes, Google doesn't account for a huge portion of the global smartphone market, but having the cheapest phone on store and online shelves, or potentially one of the cheapest, with MagSafe support out of the box is a really good look that doesn't account for some of the other benefits that the A series has as a Pixel phone option. Another reason for the increased thickness could be diminished screen bezels, as yes, things need to get moved around to make that work. I don't know the exact science of it, but that's what I've been told. So the renders here at least show better with these slimmer edges. I'm taking it with a major grain of salt, or a major helping of salt though, because renders aren't always one-to-one accurate, as we all know, but the display is said to increase from 6.2 inches to 6.3 inches, which is it's a small, admittedly, a small boost, but I think it's a nice one at that. And I don't think it will be a major change in usability, but maybe we'll get some changes to the display itself, like increased brightness, akin to what the Pixel 10 has. Let's not get it twisted. I do think the Pixel 9a already has a really good screen, a really bright screen. So any changes here are bonuses. Yes, I know a lot of people do complain about the bezel size on the A series, especially since the Pixel 8a, the Pixel 9a, and hopefully the 10a can right that with smaller bezels as well. Could we though see an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner? I'm not holding my breath on that one. That would probably add a hefty premium to this phone, which the A series is, well, it's not known for. It's known for cheap pricing. The optical scanner is pretty solid as well on the 9A in my experience, so this would be one of those wish list items. Again, if we had an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner on an A series device, yeah, you're starting to top up all of these little extras, maybe that price start to creep upon the regular Pixel 10. The thing with renders is you can't always glean a great deal from them, so the rest here is a bit of a mystery. I know there are rumours circulating about the internal specifications potentially diverging from the previous game plan or roadmap of the A series. There is a heavy suggestion online that Google is going to use a Tensor G4 processor rather than match the Pixel 10's Tensor G5 chip, which has seen, well, the chatter about that chip is good, bad, and indifferent on Tensor. It has been all through its entire lifespan. I don't know how it would land though if Google does slap that same chip in as the Pixel 9a on the 10a or inside the 10a. Would it be a good idea? Well, I'm actually, and I don't say this lightly, concerned if the company goes down this route, because it's almost like a reset for the A series. Yes, the original Pixel 3a and subsequent devices all the way up to the 6a were downgraded with regard to the main chipset, but what does that mean for the 9a? You're kind of better off just opting for a heavily discounted model of if the chip is going to be the same as in this new version, right? Well, unless Google does more with the AI functionality, I do think we might get something like a RAM bump. Let's hopefully see something from 8 to 12. If this does happen, I think that might soften the blow a little bit. This was at least also give you some sort of selling advantage or a buyer's option for the new model. You get more RAM, you get more potential performance in the long term. But yeah, it's really, really confusing. It's just strange by virtue of this rumor. I really do hope that this one isn't true, really. I don't think it breaks any trust that Pixel owners, well, it might break some trust with some of you out there, but it would just feel weird as it would make the 10A a bit of a different value proposition compared to arguably the best devices that Google makes. So I'm sort of convinced that the A series is where Google does its best work. So fingers crossed that this is one of those things that doesn't come to fruition. But again, I don't think it'll be a game-breaking problem for overall usability and experience. Just might be a bit confusing for those of you who do like the A series more than the mainline Pixel lineup. Just thinking about that for a second again though, I think if Google does opt for the Tensor G4 chip, and if it's a cost-cutting measure, then we need the 10A to be closer to the original $350 start price the older generation started shipping out way back in 2018. Then, and only then, I think it's an entirely different beast in terms of value for money, and if all those other upgrades that I'm hoping for do come to fruition as well. You can apply that to the camera as well. There's no news on what the camera system will provide. Visually, it's just that same dual camera system that has become synonymous with the Pixel 9a over the last year or so. Just look into the future for a second. I think now that the Pixel 10 has that dedicated telephoto lens and the same wide and ultra wide as the 9a, I can't see a Pixel A series phone getting one, at least a telephoto zoom lens, for a long time. If we ever actually do get one, I think that's out of the question for this next version, which appears to be arriving in 2026. As I say, there's no release date, but yeah, 2026 probably seems a bit of a safe bet for when this might arrive, as I can't see Google releasing an A series device in the same year that they've released an A series device. That would be even more confusing. So to wrap up, I think the Pixel 10a so far, what we've seen, which is not very much, it seems like a case of small incremental changes to what I'd consider a really, really good winning formula for the 9a. Let's save our full judgment though until we get more information, because yeah, we're grasping at straws a little bit. We're hoping for some things. It's a bit more of a wish list because, as I say, leaks are very thin on the ground right now. And what I'm proposing is just pure speculation at this point for this 10a device. And I say that as someone who is an A series fanboy. I love the Pixel 4a. It's still my favorite Google Pixel device ever. So I want something that can get close to that gorgeous little device. Yeah, maybe we'll get one eventually, but yeah, don't think Google's going to do that for a long time. I want to ask you, what do you think of this potential reuse design? It's undeniably worked for the Pixel 10, so I don't see why it wouldn't work for the Pixel 10a. And I suppose it makes that buying decision a little bit easier if you do hate the Pixel 9a, because you're just going to skip this one. Let me know what you think down in the comment sections below, or any of your own wish list options for the Pixel 10a. But yeah, let's keep it grounded in reality, because I think some people will say they want a high-end chip. That's not going to happen. Let me know what you think down in the comment sections below. Until next time, I will speak to you later.